stay a while and listen. As Sua said, research pertaining to GE rays was fairly minor in scale, and one certainly wouldn't hear of it simply by graduating from a normal university. Ban himself hadn't known of it until a few weeks ago.
そもそもまだ肝心の答えを聞いてないっすよ。渋谷の重力がアンバランスだとなんで若者が引きつけられるんすか？
引力と人間ってのは意外と因果関係があるってことだよ。
I guess it's casual.
お前、生き物のバイオリズムは月の引力に関係してるっての知ってたか？
No, I mean, tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain that.
潮の満ち引きだけじゃねえんだぜ。
No, you can't explain that.
ウミガメの産卵には月の影響があるらしいってのはどっかで耳にしたことがあるっす。
ああ、必ず満月の夜に産卵するってやつだな。だがウミガメだけじゃねえ。他に有名なのだとサンゴが産卵するのも満月の夜だ。
ああ、海の中が雪降ってるみたいになるやつっすね。
満月の夜は引力も強くなってるって科学的に実証されてんだ。当然人間にもその影響は及んでる。
人の出産にもってことっすか？
出産だけじゃねえよ。バイオリズムって言ったろ。普通の生理現象はもちろん、交通事故や事件、病気、食欲とか性欲とかにも密接なつながりがある。興奮すると頭に血が上ってるって言うだろう。あれは月の引力に引っ張られてるんだよ。
そりゃ極論だと思うっすよ。まるで個々の感情なんて関係なくて全部月のせいだって言ってるようなもんじゃないっすか。
そこまでは言わねえがな。集団心理って言うだろう。この町に来た途端に楽しい気分になったり、ちょっと無茶したくなったりするかもしんねえんじゃねえの？ニュージェネの一連の事件に対する反応だってそうだ。この町でそのニュースを見た連中は大抵反応が同じだ。どいつもこいつも楽しんでやがる。自分だけは被害者にならないって気持ちだ。対岸の火事を眺めていい気になってる。
Yes, because I'm sure we're all excited when someone's house burns down.
そういう集団心理も GE レートのせいってことっすか？
可能性としてはありだろう。渋谷に来たら楽しい気分になるってのが若いやつらの頭の中に無意識にすり込まれれば、
若者がこの街に惹かれる理由になるってわけっすね。
As expected, Sua was a quick study, Bon thought admiringly. He was still young, but this side of him was rather impressive. And what set him apart from the other youngsters was how instead of simply following his seniors, he argued back when he had doubts of something or found it peculiar.
GE レートについては一応分かったっすけど、それでどうやって犯人を探すんすか？もし GE レートに影響されて今回みたいな事件が起きたってなら、何百年も前から似たようなことが起きてないと変なんじゃ。
そいつはこれから調べりゃいいさ。専門家がな。
先輩は調べないんすか？
俺はデカだぞ。
Bun smirked.
調べるのはニュージェネのことだけだ。そのために今日はわざわざ仕事サボって現場の GE レートを測ったんだ。もしこれまでの一連の現場の GE レートが異常を示したなら何を意味すると思う？
まさか。
Eyes round, Sua stopped in place. He appeared to have picked up on what Ban was trying to say.
事件は G レートが異常を示している場所で起こるってことですか？だとしたら次の事件が起こる場所をある程度予測できるんですね。
まだそう決まったわけじゃねえよ。それをこれから調べんだ。
There was something to the city. Something unidentified, hidden in the depths behind its gaudy exterior. Maybe it was a Pandora's box that humans mustn't touch. So Ban thought to himself as he surveyed the people going down the road.
理想だもまだその意志にある導き。
When I heard those words, I couldn't stand it any longer. Fest kept on avoiding the subject by bringing up stuff I didn't care about. I had zero interest in things like her great will or why young people were drawn to Shibuya. I only wanted to ask her one thing.
理想度はどうすれば手に入る？
I demanded of Fess, mustering all my courage.
教えてよ。
The Triforce of Wisdom. Without any change in her world-weary expression, Fess dropped her gaze to the D-sword she was carrying. Despite its enormity, she appeared to handle it with ease. I wondered if the truth that she possessed some kind of ridiculous strength.
教えられることじゃないわ。
なんて。
What's with dropping all those hints and then refusing to tell me the most crucial part of it?
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身。
Reach out with the Force!
方法なんて私にもわからない。
She didn't know. And how the hell had Fess obtained the sword she was holding in her hand right now?
ただ理想度は力を持つ人の目にしか映せない。
So if you reversed this, that meant people without the power couldn't see them? I could see it clear as day, but... what power? The Force. Did I have some kind of supernatural power that allowed there to be two fists standing before me right now?
君には私の剣が見えているでしょ。それが意味するの一つだけ。
If it was the power's fault that Shogun and Yua were meddling with me, I didn't want that kind of meaningless power. Except, even so, I wanted a D-sword. Fess had already said it would grant me salvation. It didn't matter to me whether a great will existed or why young people were attracted to Shibuya. I didn't need any kind of power, and I didn't want to get caught up in anything bothersome. But to slip away from Shogun and Yua, the only thing I had to get my hands on was a sword.
感じて世界を選択した意志。
But as before, Fess's answers remained ambiguous. I bit my lip and thought frantically about how to squeeze more information out of her. I'm not going to do it this time. But given how poor I was at talking with 3D people, I couldn't come up with a single effective method. I tried thinking about eroge situations that might prove to be helpful examples, but all that came to mind were barbaric things like making her drink an aphrodisiac or tying her up or confining her. Ugh, I might be the worst kind of human being.
君、名前は？
Facing me with her back, Fess began walking slowly into the depths of the tunnel.
私は岸本綾瀬。
Kishima. Okay. Now that she said it, I realized we hadn't so much as introduced ourselves.
西条匠。
I couldn't see Ayase's expression from my position. I didn't know why she'd laughed at me.
また会いましょう。匠。
Oh God, oh man. Ayase retreated into the distance. Wondering what had happened to the other Ayase, I gingerly turned around. Her form had already vanished, leaving behind not the slightest trace. Had she literally disappeared or simply walked out of the subway? Ayase had called her a delusion, but was that the power of the D-sword? I returned my line of sight to the subway interior. Ayase was just beginning to climb up another set of stairs, located about 50 meters deep down the tunnel. At last, I completely lost sight of her. All that remained afterward was the subway's eerie silence. I lacked the boldness to yell out and stop her. As for running after her, I was exhausted, and my sense that it would just be a hassle overruled everything else. Whoa! I cannot read. I was exhausted, and my sense that it would just be a hassle overruled everything else. That's the way you read that sentence. Hello. In the end, all I could do was timidly return home, so as to avoid being spotted by Yoa or the police. Good plan. It felt like it'd been a while since I'd last gone back to my base. In reality, though, I'd only been away for about half a day. I left my PC on, and the serotonin in my screensaver radiated a pale light and a smile into the rest of the dark room. I locked the door from the inside and flung myself heavily down on the sofa. When I closed my eyes, I couldn't help recalling what had happened today. Of all things, to be suspected by the police. They must be making some kind of mistake. I wasn't even capable of murder. Do a better job of investigating. This isn't some game. They probably thought that because Creepy Otaka didn't have much social knowledge, I wouldn't be able to object even if they set me up as a criminal. Since they had totally failed to find a true perpetrator, they wanted to maintain their reputations by using me as their scapegoat. Damn it. What should I do to clear up their accusations? Hello. I shuddered as I remembered the scene at At Cafe. There was someone out there far more terrifying than the police. Yuo was my enemy. Lately I thought I was safe because she hadn't shown any signs of movement. I'd been ecstatic, thinking she wouldn't attempt to make contact with me anymore. But today I'd been forced to realize my mistake. I needed a D-sword to resist the likes of her. I cast a glance at the cheap sword leaning up to one side of my PC. It was a fake, according to Ayase. A D-sword was only visible to those with the power. Nanami had clearly seen my sword on the day I bought it. Besides, unlike Ayase and Sena's swords, this one didn't glow. Where could the real thing be? I had to require one as soon as possible. I cannot talk! I had to acquire one as soon as possible. Pronunciate. Wow! Learn English, Mongol. If not, it would be the end of me. There couldn't be anything worse than getting wrapped up in something this unreasonable.
あなたは DID 多重人格
You have that. One time you're just going ape shit, and then you're friendly the next time. You need to fuck off, woman. You're seriously starting to piss me off. You're wrong. That's not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Don't they say that multiple personalities are really rare in Japan? You have seen too many movies and novels. Plus, you would know this, dude. You'd wake up in weird places. I don't have multiple personalities. There's no proof for it anywhere.
違う。あれは違う。
But that chat log was consistent with what Yua told me. But that chat log was consistent with what Yuwa told me.
あんなの捏造だ。証拠にはならない。
But nor was there any proof that I didn't have multiple personalities. Well, kinda there is. I mean, if you have multiple personalities, there's huge gaps between the times you're conscious. Like, for example, you've been knowledgeable about every day, and the fact that you can distinguish what day you go to school and what you did at school kind of proves that you don't have multiple personality disorder, because otherwise you wouldn't know what you did. It's kind of like sleepwalking. You're like, oh wait, I killed someone. Oh, okay, no I didn't, and then you kill the guy who told you you killed someone, right? I don't have that, I think.
先生は僕を多重人格だなんて診断しなかった。
But for some reason, Dr. Takashi went away.
僕は僕だ。僕が一番よく知ってる。
But I don't understand myself. I was assaulted by a tingling sensation at the back of my neck. The usual presence, the gaze of someone watching me. Whose eyes are those eyes?
そうだ。将軍だ。あいつが犯人だ。チャットログにもそう書いてあったじゃないか。ユアは将軍の手下だし。ニュージェネ事件だって全部将軍が。
But did Shogun truly exist? Was not that itself a delusion?
僕はまともだ。まともなんだ。そうでしょう。
Cradling my head, I shouted at no one. The one who replied was Sarah.
メールだよボケナス
Sarah? I dragged myself over to the PC and checked my email. Grim was the sender. The title was "Found Something Interesting." Must be more of his trolling. He was trying to get my head shut down again. I couldn't afford to go along with Grimm's games now, but for the time being I stuck to just reading the text of his mail. Night, Hartgun. Why aren't you coming into our chat room at all? You weren't an N2 either. I couldn't help it, so I mailed you. This video like seriously shocking, so take a look. You're probably thinking he's just trying to break my brain again, but it's a film shot by the new Gen Perp. They're going batshit about it online. In my opinion, you ought to watch it before you get behind the curve. Ciao. A video taken by the new Gen Perp? My fingers trembled against the mouse. Okay, that's enough of this fucking suave voice, but I can't seem to get out of it. I don't know what's up today. Alright, that should be better. I don't know. My fingers trembled against the mouse. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the email. Did he mean the criminal showed up in there? Who was it? Surely not me. My desire to see it warred with my longing not to. This was proof that I wasn't a criminal. Or else proof that I was. I didn't know which would turn out to be the case. It was akin to a gamble. Sensing the ringing of my internal alarm bells, I moved my mouse cursor up to where the link was located. But I couldn't quite work up the courage to click the URL.
私あなたを助けたい。
Shut up. Don't treat me like a criminal. Don't act like you sympathize with me. I didn't do it. You herself was the one on the killer's side. Furious, I clicked the URL. YouTube. A YouTube page opened up. What the fuck? The word loading appeared in the video window. Oh boy.
僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない。
In actuality, it only took about 10 seconds to load, but to me those 10 seconds felt like an eternity. At last it finished loading, and the video began playing back. It was a film of a very dark place. God damn it, that whimpering is working on my nerves. The back room was pitch black. It looked like somewhere indoors. Doesn't look like fucking indoors to me! Are you blind? How long does a second take in your world anyway, dude? In an attempt to somehow gather information from within the video, I brought my face closer to the monitor. And then I fucking scared the shit out of myself by doing so. It was dim and hard to see, but several girls and guys were there. They were raising their voices, being terribly boisterous. No shit. Perhaps because of how low the audio rate was, or perhaps because the emotions of the people on the film were so heightened. I couldn't catch what they were saying. On occasion they let out violent shouts, their voices breaking horribly. After watching for a little while, I grasped that there were 5 people present, including the cameraman. That made 6. Good counting. The cameraman didn't enter the screen in the slightest. Though I could tell there were 5 people, the darkness prevented me from seeing their faces clearly. As though to affirm one another, they caressed each other's heads, patted each other's shoulders, and embraced. Jesus Christ, no shit, dude. I heard a girl's high-pitched weeping as if she'd been overcome by emotion. It was certainly a singular spectacle, but how was this video related to the new gen? Oh, I don't know. They're only on a fucking helipad. Oh my god. Is this guy an idiot? Dude, how can he skip school? This dude is an idiot. This guy is dumb. Look, it's not indoors. We're about 1 minute 47 in. There's lights here to show planes. Don't fucking fly close. You're gonna bash your shit up in my grill, bitch. Dude, there's like lights everywhere. There's a helipad sign here. It's obviously the 5 dudes who jumped. Oh my god. Was the new gen criminal really the one who had filmed it? At least I had no recollection of taping something like this. Yeah, take your face fucking closer, you dumbass fuck. After some time, the camera the videographer holding the camera began moving forward. 5 subjects who had been about 5 meters away gradually began to show up larger and larger. The picture was rather grainy. Maybe someone had lowered the bitrate as much as possible when they encoded it so as to make the file smaller. Modern videos cameras should be night vision capable, so I wasn't sure why this cameraman hadn't taken advantage of that. Was it an old camera, maybe? The camera panned from side to side, revealing the surrounding scenery. What I assumed to be pitch black background was in fact the light sky. In other words, the place being filmed was outside. Yeah, no shit. The reason not a single building appeared on tape was because this roof was on a high rise. Not a single building? Dude! Oh my god, I gotta lower my volume for this. These weeping bitch asses are really working on my nerves. The 5 girls, and guys were at the edge of the roof of a very tall building. Close behind them lay a sheer precipice. Below were the lavish lights of Shibuya one could see from tall locations. I finally understood, it took you long enough, what this video signified, and why he said it had been taken by the new gen criminal. Yeah, the group diving film. You're fucking smart. In the case in which 5 people jumped off the roof of the Cornelius Tower, which should have been sealed off like locked room situation in a detective novel. The first in the sequence of new gen incidents. The one that could have been either murder or suicide. If this film portrayed the 5 people who had jumped to their deaths, then it meant there'd been a 6th person on the scene when it happened. The 5 shown here hadn't been acting boisterous. All had sunk down on the spot and were screaming and crying as they pressed their bodies together. Unable to give up, even though they were fated to die soon. One shook his head and sobbed, "No, no!" One fell to her knees and wept with her shoulders heaving, clutching at her hair. One turned to the cameraman, crying, asking why he was doing something like this. One had already gone mad and was laughing as tears poured down his face. Dude, you guys get so insane so fast. If someone was trying to kill me, damn, I'd be like up in this bitch. I'd be like, oh, you're gonna kill me? Very cool. Like, in a situation like this where you're gonna die anyway, I mean, okay, you might be overcome by fear. Just crap your pants. The sticky feeling that you'll be having in your anus and butt crack and the shit running down your leg all the way up and down into your shoes, it'll make you moving in a little bit. Okay, dude, whatever the fuck. It's what happened to the people who were in 9/11. They were like, oh yeah, you gonna kill us? Well, I'd rather kill myself than be killed by you. That's why people jumped out of buildings. It's better to fall to your death than to burn alive. I think it's better to not die at all, but that's cool. There lay a raging desire to live, a searching longing not to die. Wow, is this fucking Shakespeare or what? There lay a raging desire to live, a searching longing not to die. To live, or not to live. Disconsolate anger. Why does this have to happen to us? Many raw emotions forming a downward spiral. In opposition to that, bizarrely, the camera's voice never entered the video. The cameraman was uncannily calm. Nothing would change, no matter how much I pleaded with a video that had been filmed almost a month earlier. I knew it was meaningless, but I found myself unconsciously shouting. Shouting at a monitor. Yeah, who gives a crap? Oh, this is gonna be great. Zooming in really gets to me. This is gonna... Oh man, I'm going to crap my pants so hard. Man, people are gonna be wishing the entire world was a toilet because it's gonna be filled with shit after this deal. This is a bad deal. There's no way my words would reach them, and the camera drew even closer to the 5 of them. Perhaps driven by fear, they retreated from the camera as though crawling. But escape was impossible. Close behind them was the very edge of the heliport, and that with nothing resembling a safety fence. This is so professional. Yawning at all? I bet people are really entertained by this. I just read text for you. They no longer had anywhere to run. If they scooted back a little further, they'd fall. The cameraman, utterly heedless of how they begged for their lives, pretty cool, continued advancing the camera on them as if he meant to drive them distraught. He had driven them this far into a corner, but he sought to take no other action. Oh, boy. What? Okay, so the fact that we just lost all that weeping and whining all of a sudden after like 10 minutes of the ear rambling we got, kind of like the equivalent to listening to a Fred Durst song, or any song for that matter that they play in a dance club post 2000. Like LMFAO, fuck you if you like that music, get the fuck out of my channel. You have no taste. Fuck you if you like dubstep, actually. That thing's been diseased in Europe since 2005. You Americans think you've got it bad. You American think, oh man, oh you guys, you think you got it bad. We've been listening to the dubstep shit since 2005. We're nearly at a decade here. Holy crap. 1 decade full of shit. It's like one of those really hipster things. Oh, and it's really brutal music, dude. It's really brutal music. It's like yeah, everything that dubstep does, metal does better. Yeah, like, oh yeah, we got melodies, but they're original melodies and not just some sampled shit, namely dub, you know. They're actual original melodies written by people who care to make actual new music rather than just stay in the old and golden glory by raping old songs. Oh, and then they're like, oh dude, but we got dub drops and they're really brutal. Take our music seriously, please. And it's just like this fucking tune that goes like, Bwong! That's the sound I make when I take a dump. How's that artistic? Sure, my shit looks pretty good half of the time, but goddamn, that ain't art. Because metal has that too. It's like, but it's like you've got it more in hardcore. It's hardcore stuff. It's like a breakdown. Like it's just a big swing at a fucking end all over your guitar. It takes no skill. And then you repeat it. It's like vroom. And then you wait for a few seconds and you do another vroom. And you get like dum 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 dum. It's kind of like the Terminator team. Dum 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 dum. But that's faster. That's still really fast. A breakdown is supposed to be like a real breakdown. It's to, you know, it's meant to like slow down the pace when you're coming out at a fast rhythmic tempo, just like dubstep, because you're coming out at a fast tempo. But anyway, dubstep sucks. Don't listen to it. Actually, I have a huge fit with like all the music. Dude, just fucking read on ahead. No, just listen to me, dude. This is important. This is important. I make amateur Let's Plays, not some fucking pro who does a whole thread on the fucking case. I make shitty videos. Deal with it. So, what the fuck is up with the current music? It's like so shitty. You got like, what's that one song I had to hear at my last work so many times? Like it was something, bitches, hoes. Hold on. I'm thinking of it. It was like some dropout at UC Berkeley, where Nick had his schooling at. And she made like this music and fat bitches. One big room full of fat bitches. Yeah, that's it. One big room full of bad bitches. Like, and that's the only fucking sample that goes on through the entire song in the background. It's like, one big room full of bad bitches. One big room full of bad bitches. And then you got music like Nicki Minaj. Holy fuck, I'd rather chop off my ears than listen to another song over there. I'd rather be fucking impaled on a huge dildo than listen to that music again. Holy fuck. And then you got people in your class like, oh, all these hipster faggots. Oh, I don't have anything against gays. Trust me. I just use faggot in the broad sense of the word as gay, not gay ass, just shitty. Like, oh, dude, you're a faggot. It's like, oh, you're shit, but you're not shit for being gay. I don't give a fuck if you're straight or gay. You can even touch my ass as long as you don't put it in there. Like, seriously, if you're a homophobe, wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. Every human is the same. We're all the same. We're all in the same fucking boat. If Christianity taught us to love every single human as a brother, then why the fuck should gays not be allowed to love other men, and gays not be allowed to love other females? Or as you like to call it, what's the word called you like to call it? Lesbian? Yeah. Lesbo, oh, she's a dyke. Oh, that's wonderful. But, oh, you're all fine with dykes, but you're not fine with gays. Oh, great. Nice job. Anyways, music shit. Listen to some old classic shit. I myself prefer late 70s, 77. You know, that's kind of music I really start digging. Like 77, moving up to the 80s. Start 90s, you know, 96 was kind of where, oh man, we're trying to be hipsters here now, dude. The 90s, dude, it's the 90s, dude. And you're like, oh, is it the 90s? Can we go back a decade? No! Okay. Crap. And then 2000 hit it. We were like, oh man, fuck this noise. Oh man, and then there's every single kid who grew up in the 80s or 90s just went to listen to metal. Like 2000 hit, they're like, oh man, this pop bullshit is so crappy. And then you got Nickelback on TV and you're like, oh my god, I feel like I'm being abused in my anal hole. And then you go listen to metal and you're like, oh dude, this is fucking sweet. This is like 80s bullshit right here. This is fucking cool. Yeah, hair metal, dude. Yeah, that's how I got into metal. I used to listen to Daft Punk and all that shit. I liked that album actually. The one with Aerodynamic on it. Yeah, pretty. That's like the only song I like from that album. Yeah, and then Red Hot Chili Peppers. I really dig that. I started off with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then some guy told me about this band, really unknown band in Finland, and they were still named something else, but they grew out to be Sonata Arctica, and that got me into power metal. And then my friends found out about a band called Blind Guardian when I was like 12. Started listening to Blind Guardian. And then this album came. I got internet in 2004, and then this album came out. I'll never forget that day that album came out. It was Winter Sun. Dude, that album blew my mind. Like, I knew about In Flames when I was 13, and I loved In Flames. Oh man, In Flames is the fucking balls. Yeah. And I was 14, and I found out about Winter Sun. At the Gates, I heard them on MTV, no less, back when I was like 7 years old, dude. And we're like, oh man, Slaughter of the Soul. Wow. Children born of sin tear your soul apart. Whoa, this is fucking badass music. My cousin would be like, oh, it means this and this. And I'm like, okay, so it's about abusing children. Sounds cool. I'm 7. Sounds cool. Anyways, like... Jesus Christ. Okay. The wind was strong on the roof of the Cornelius Tower. Pushed on by the wind, they seemed about to stumble. One misstep and they would fall. As though they had given up, they joined their hands. They gripped each other's hands firmly.
よせ。やめろ。謝るな。
Yes, I'm sure when you've got a group of 5 people and there's one dude, either he's carrying a minigun behind a camera, or I would fucking say to the rest, okay, bum rush the dude, let's throw him off the building. Let's go home, grab some cola. That's the deal. No, they're like, oh man, we're gonna die, so we're gonna jump now, rather than try our luck. Bum rush the dude. No, they're like, oh, fuck this. Crawling in my skin, they would say when I heal. Silence. I almost thought that even the sound of the wildly blowing wind had stopped. All I could hear were the cars running along the Shudo Express way below the building. The cameraman still did nothing, and one of the 5 softly muttered. I froze in front of the monitor, feeling as though a cold hand had grabbed hold of my heart.
なんで
The way he said that, なんで?
なんでまたその言葉なんだよ
This was the first new gen incident, wasn't it? Yeah, no shit, dude. The phrase, whose eyes were those eyes, was supposed to be a dying message from the vampire house. The 4th case. I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number. You'll call me maybe. Fuck that song. Fuck you, Carly Rae Jepsen. Who the fuck creates this shitty ass music? The film continued, ignoring my internal screams. As they held hands, the five slowly stepped forward. As there were a road ahead of him. They collapsed into the night scenery of the megalopolis, sorry. I bit my lip and covered my eyes. Oh man. Oh, that's just classic. Oh man, someone just threw a ragdoll off a building, right? I know that. I know that sound. Someone just threw like a fucking school mat down a school building and they taped it at the bottom with like a microphone for a stock sound. Oh man. Oh game, you so crazy. Oh, I think I had enough of this shit for now. God damn. We need a break from this game. See you guys next time.